Hello everyone, welcome back to VAGRUS The Riven Realms. Over the last two sessions we have got started with our caravan on the Pilgrims of the Wasteland tutorial, and recently we were attacked by some zombies and gathered some other compatriots for our travels. Now we have 5 units of movement left, so we're just going to keep on moving down southwest. The Comitatus has seen better days. In fact, your commies are in a pretty foul mood. Perhaps you can still turn things around. Low chance of success. Charismatic, persuasion, strong-minded, savvy. Let's spend 2 resourcefulness to increase this test by 10%. We do not have the leadership perk to do it again, so we now have a moderate chance of success. We're looking to roll a lower number than the one presented to us. We rolled 11 under 55, so that succeeds. The Comitatus trudges on. You manage to avert or prevent the worst things that have come up today. Now, with 2 movement and 4 marching, I think we can spend 3 to come to here. That will spend our 2 and then 1 of our marching. And now we will camp rather than pressing on again. We still do not have enough cash to pay our keep, so that's a problem. We will do standard defensive orders, and hunting we still have a 100% chance of failure even with our extra stats in that, so no hunting. We will just carry on to the end of the day. Nothing terrible happened through the course of the night, so now we will march on once again. The whole Comitatus becomes agitated as a dust cloud appears in the east and starts to move towards you. You give orders to your crew to prepare for a dust storm. Such a thing is fairly common out here in the border of the Searing Plains, and you should have little trouble traversing it. Make the necessary arrangements and head on south. After half an hour, the cloud is much closer and is now certain that it will cross your path. By then, everyone is wearing protective masks or bandanas, and all the cargo and equipment are secured. Naheulbeuk is riding a large beast of burden, having fastened himself to its back, deep in concentration to maintain the calmness of all your animals with his telepathic skills. But something is off. An uncanny twilight is settling on the broken plains around you. It is too early for sunset, and the storm itself should not blot out light in such a manner. And then you hear it, chanting. Chanting on the wind. And a pale light at the heart of the storm heading your way. You see the faces of the crew slowly become distorted in panic. Try and flee. Order everyone to draw weapons and prepare for a fight. Try to find a hiding place, unlikely as it may be, out in the open. I think we're just going to flee. I'm not ready for a fight, and my people are not happy with me as we are. You are just about to give order when Sidarius walks up to you. What is the meaning of this, VAGRUS? There is no need for such a desperate act. It is just a dust storm. You tell him quickly about your previous encounter with the Lost Pilgrimage. Nonsense. The chances that the Pilgrims would show up again are... Sidarius trails off as the eerie twilight falls upon the Comitatus and the dust cloud envelops you all. There is no time to flee or hide, so you signal everyone to draw weapons and stand at the ready. Some of your crew tremble, some are praying, and some are about to break, but not Sidarius. The knight walks towards the approaching apparition as if being possessed by a death wish. You can see Naheulbeuk frowning and sweating in concentration, no doubt trying to combat your beast's instinct to flee in utter terror. In a few moments, you can hear the chanting and see the ghastly pilgrims clearly through the dust curtain, desiccated forms in faded robes shuffling along the broken terrain, or rather over the terrain somehow, as if floating at a rapid pace. Their vacant faces are illuminated by a dreadful pale light that emanates from their hollow insides. You are paralyzed by terror. Blurred images enter your mind, visions of a horrid procession of living dead wearing faded robes. You walk among them. You are one of them. Is this the end? Before they could reach you, the spectral pilgrims turn left and head south along a dried-out riverbed without any apparent reason. It takes your mind a few minutes to comprehend that an unusual mercy has just been granted over you and your crew. The last pilgrimage marches on, slowly disappearing into the cracked badlands beyond, taking the ghoulish twilight and the dust storm with them. It takes a few good moments for the crew and yourself to come to your senses. Did this truly happen? What was the reason, if any, for the spectral troop to change direction at the last second? How can it be explained that they appeared again after such a short time? Sidarius walks over to you looking confident, though you can see he is a bit shaken too. Surgorod is with us. This is an omen if I have ever seen one. My destiny for retribution against the enemies of the Empire must be the reason why these horrors let us be. You swallow and nod, yet you are not so certain why it happened the way it did. Rest assured, VAGRUS, as long as you have me by your side, no harm will come to your comitatus. Remember that. Sidarius walks away, signaling the line to move along. +5 insight. Still rattled, you move along the line, assuring everyone that the danger is past. With the comitatus moving, you join Yavik on top of the large beast of burden, but you barely talk. You have never heard of anyone encountering the last pilgrimage twice. Somehow, you do not feel blessed. Haunted, more like. After an hour or two, you and your crew fall back into travel routines, and tonight, all will seem much less terrifying. In fact, you should be grateful for avoiding certain death at the hands of those accursed things twice in a row. Hopefully there won't be a third time. You move towards Avernum. We still have our 6 movement points, so we will keep moving. A little bit of lag there. And we will move for 2 more here. And now, even though we have 1 remaining, we will set camp as we are. Still no pay, still accruing debt. Obedience is submissive. I don't really want to discipline anybody. We are low on rations, so we have no choice but to offer 50% rations, which could be a problem. But we're just going to have to keep ploughing on. The comitatus morale is dangerously close to being irreversibly broken, and you are quickly losing your chance to turn this around. The crew is consistently arguing with each other, and a lot of them have no qualms about going against your will either. It gets so bad that you can't calm everyone down, and they will simply leave, dissolving the comitatus or worse, depose you with your violent means. This is your last chance. Moderate chance of success. I will spend resourcefulness. If it's already implied, perhaps. Let's see if everything's about to go absolutely bottoms up. We succeed on a 35 under a 53. You manage to do the unthinkable with a mixture of charm, threats, persuasion, and outright lies. The people calm down and do not want to oust you any longer. Your position as a VAGRUS is safe, for now at least. We have 7 movement now. So we have 0 for our vigor and minus 25% for our morale. We need to get to town soon. The comitatus morale is dangerously close to being irreversibly broken. We've seen this check before. We succeed once more. We're going to keep moving. There's Avernum. We might just make it. It's 6 more. We only have 1 and 3, so we're going to have to camp 1 more day. If we can just get there, I think everything will be fine. Very low chance of success. Low chance of success. We succeed on a 32 against a 39. I have no idea if those are scripted or not, or whether we could indeed fail them. However, we are going to reach Avernum. The comitatus climbs a broken ridge, and everyone stops for a moment to take in the visage of Avernum, nestled atop and around a range of large hills on the horizon to the southwest. Chimneys of the city's many forges and smelters cast a dark shadow over it, while the lava fields beyond the settlement provide an intense reddish glow as a backdrop. Several crude roads meander among the hills here, probably leading to the mines and quarries you had passed during the last day or so. Time for us to part ways for a while, VAGRUS. The voice of Sidarius makes you jump a little. For a large fellow wearing heavy armor, he managed to creep up on you without a sound. He is standing beside you, gazing at the horizon. I have to make my own way into the city alone. My reasons are my own, but before I go, I have a proposition for you. His voice and stature tell you that there is not much point in arguing. You are well aware, of course, that my contingent was betrayed and ambushed out in the wasteland where we met. During our trek back here, I have come to the conclusion that whoever betrayed us had to be someone involved in the investigation I led in Avernum before setting out from the city. Even though I have some ideas where to start looking for traitors, the implications of this despicable betrayal are too severe to attempt to meet it head-on. I require secrecy and guile. Most of my remaining allies in the city and I are too easy to track or recognize, and those responsible could easily make evidence disappear if I am revealed to be alive. Someone else has to provide that guile for us. After a short pause, he looks you in the eye. What I mean is that you, your friend the mage, and the rest of your crew could be vital in finding the culprits and bringing them to justice. The Empire needs your help, VAGRUS. We can ask what exactly the betrayal implies, ask him what kind of assistance he needs, ask him about the investigation he had led, agree to help for the Empire, agree to help for a price, or refuse to help him. What kind of assistance do you need? What's the job? I need someone who is not known to have cooperated with a previous investigation and is not associated with me publicly. I need someone to spy on the suspected officials and criminals while I coordinate the investigation from a hidden base of operations. You, VAGRUS, and your crew fit the requirements perfectly. Additionally, you've proven yourself resourceful and tough since we met. What's the... No, we can gain powerful friends. I think that sounds suitable. Sidarius seems somewhat surprised, perhaps disappointed even for a brief moment. Then he flashes what passes for a smile on him. Very well. I was indeed nurturing the hope that you'll be willing to aid the Empire in this perilous predicament. We will struggle side by side, just like we did near the Voiceless Lake, VAGRUS, and I can assure you, the Order of the Black Sun does not forget loyalty and dedication to the Empire. He slaps you on the shoulder. Now, let us part ways and follow my plan. So what is his plan? The plan, for now, is to make our way into Avernum separately, so that you won't be associated with me at all. Rest assured that although they do not expect my return, the traitors would be informed at once had I have turned up at the city gates, so I have to find an alternate way in. I will send for you once I'm settled in. Someone trustworthy shall appear and guide you to my... The next word makes him wince. Hideout. We'll talk about your tasks there. You ask him about the belongings of his former comrades. The knight frowns. That might complicate matters somewhat. He looks thoughtful. Take their holy symbols to the Temple of Sorogud quietly. You can get rid of weapons as you see fit, but I forbid selling at the market. I would draw too much attention to you, and we don't want that for now. Sidarius pierces you with his gaze. I sincerely hope I can trust you with this, VAGRUS. Woe betide you if you do not comply. With that, he takes his leave from you and waits to signal the comitatus to move forward. The knight remains behind to find his own way into the city. A quarter of an hour later, Sidarius is only a speck on the horizon, and you are rapidly approaching Avernum. The last stretch before the city awaits you. Sidarius was removed from your comitatus.
Dark omens, ominous apparitions of an otherworldly covenant of spectres, a grim night out for vengeance, time and coin running out slowly. Yet against all odds, we journeyed to the city of Avernum on the Smoulderbone Flats, a place bustling with travellers, merchants and lowlifes. It was supposed to be a short stop on our way east, but we got more than we bargained for.
So, we can travel into Avernum without issue. When occupying a settlement node, you can enter the settlement using the Enter button on the radial menu. You can always choose not to enter and even camp outside. Well, I think we're certainly going in. The city of Avernum. You can smell its foul stench even as you approach its mighty gates set in dark walls decorated with the bones of gigantic creatures. The dry, sulphurous reek of the region so close to the molten tongue mixes with the bitter, ashen stink of the many foundries and forges in the city. Over the walls, the rooftops and chimneys of the city lean together in a jumble. Buildings on the lower part of the hill are more dilapidated, while other ones near the top are in better general condition, with a walled-off villa appearing here and there. A group of guards stops you as your comitatus moves ponderously under the gate arch. While your cargo and men are being checked, you can see several of the grim black-clad legionnaires of the Avernus Legion standing guard beneath the gate towers staring at you. Gate tax is 2 changes. the head guardsman said after getting the confirmation from his men that everything is in order. A slave next to him bows to you and holds up an open money box he carried chained to him. Pay the gate tax. 2 change are required. We have 19. Pay with goods. It may not be cheap, but you need to get inside. Or swear to pay once you are leaving. It will cost more this way. If we can actually afford, then we will just pay the gate tax. You have passed through the city gate and arrive at the cobbled plaza on the other side. You head towards the Mansio, the large inn for comitati. Without delay, you set yourself up there and have some rest after the arduous journey. In an hour, everything is settled. Your beasts are stabled, your cargo is unloaded into the warehouse, and most of your crew is resting already. Just as you are about to head to a common room for a drink, Naheulbeuk approaches you and draws you aside. There's someone here to see you, boss. Someone sent by our knightly friend. Says she wants to talk to you discreetly. She's waiting behind the stables, Naheulbeuk says in hushed tones. It was foolish to think that you would rid yourself of Sidarius and his agenda even for a few hours, but you have little choice. The woman waiting for you in the shadows behind the stables of the Mansio is wearing a large hood and a long cape over a dark grey featureless tunic. As you approach, she throws the hood back, revealing the marking of someone of service of Ashgal, god of the underworld. A face painted pale with dark eyeshadow to give the impression of a skull. You suspect that she is a novice attached to the Order of the Black Sun or an acolyte of the Church of Ashgal. The woman looks around furtively. There is nobody here, just you and Naheulbeuk. Greetings from our mutual friend, the Knight Dominius, the young woman says, quietly after looking you in the eye. I was sent here to take you to him when you're ready. I'll wait here, just don't take too long. He's very eager to see you. From now on, you can visit Sidarius in Avernum. Just before you set out, Naheulbeuk draws you aside. So, it would seem that we stay here longer than we had expected. It occurs to me that such a delay would be a strain on our resources, and I rather doubt that our knightly friend cares about that. You have considered this also. Naheulbeuk goes on as you rub your chin thoughtfully. I was thinking we could smelt the scrap metal we bought. I know it would cost us, but hear me out. Not only does smelted metal take up less space in the cargo hold, but it could also allow us to sell a fraction of it for great profit here. It's a loss in the long run, but we have to pay the crew if we are to tarry here, don't we? You have to admit, he is making a lot of sense. You could smelt down the metal and sell some for the bars for an injection of coins if need be. The two of you make ready to set out. The Mansio pane is now active. Navigate to the Mansio pane by clicking on it to the decanter and plate icon. This is the Mansio pane. Mansios are inns specialized for comitati. When you rest in the Mansio, the day ends and you'll get an end day scene similar to when you camp in the wilderness. You can see your own comitatus crew pane on the left and the Mansio's stock on the right. You can hire or dismiss crew as well as buy or sell beasts in the Mansio. Switch between crew and beasts with the buttons at the top. The type of beasts can also be changed here at great cost with the locked in the Pilgrims of the Wasteland. Rumours can also be purchased here. These are bits of information that can unlock points of interest on your chart, tip you off to business opportunities, or give you hints on storylines. Purchase rumours can be found in your journal under the Rumours tab. Passengers can sometimes also be found in mansions. When taken to their destination, they reward you for their efforts, but often you have to reach a place with a time limit. The passenger's consumption and potential crew combat strength is also shown here. Exchange news allows you to tap into local sources about the settlement you are in, which could be information from people might pay from other places. At the same time, you also pass on the news you've gathered from elsewhere, providing a few coins. The list of settlements you carry news from is found in the journal under the News tab. Okay, well, what we really need to do is sell things like our coal and some of our metal to pay off our accrued upkeep, because, oh boy, that's really high right now. So let's go to the market. This is our cargo hold. We have 6 stacks of scrap metal, coal, and herbs that we found after killing somebody, I believe. So, let's see about selling this coal. This is the price history, I suppose. Yep, there it is. It says price history. I don't really care what the history is. I just want to sell the coal. Where do I drag it to sell it? Oh, here it is. So we don't drag anything outside of our inventory. We just come to here and we can sell coal. We have 4 more pieces. We're just going to sell it all, I think. We brought it this far. I have no idea if we made a profit or a loss on this, but we can't not have cash any longer. So that brings us up to 5 bros, 4 liag, and 5 changes. Whilst I understand the wish for custom names for currency in games, I kind of just wish they would go with gold, silver, and copper. But that's just me. What can we do with herbs? Dried and cut plants often used healers, quacks, and medicine men, or to make tea. Consult the price history for known market prices. Well, now that we've done that, let's go back to the inn. Can I find somewhere to pay our crew? I guess we'll do it at the end of the day when we're presented with the screen. We have a total consumption of 82. What food do we eat? Is it just supplies? A bundle of supplies enough to cover 1 consumption. Bread from root grain with vegetables or mushrooms, a bit of dried meat if you're lucky. So we are out of supplies. I think we left with like 800 supplies or something, so we probably want to buy a lot of this. That's the wrong button. Is it shift click? Yeah. So this is 1 day's worth of supplies. Let's just go for 800 supplies plus 3 days. Okay, so we can only afford 272 as a max. So let's buy 100. No, let's buy 50. We have 100 out of 188 cargo here. So if we buy 50 now, for the cost of 1 biggest unit coin, this has gone up to 120. We have supplies, 250 max units per stack, a bundle of supplies, enough to cover 1 consumption. And so if we go back to our party, we can see that our consumption is 82 in total per day, I think. So we're going to need a lot more than that. I don't think we can handle having as many people in our party as we do, perhaps. I'm certainly not looking to hire anybody at this time. How did we think we go about smelting metal? Fruit harvested in a sun-drenched oasis and dried in large quantities to last much longer. I guess that's just various kinds of food. So we have scrap metal. It's in demand. We can sell some of it. I don't know if that means it'll automatically become bars. That's leave, obviously. Guarding your camp, even the most rudimentary way, puts a strain on your guards. Yeah, I should know that much. And there's a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of information. We can hire a middle-aged sage. They'll put a burden of 1 food on our party. We can buy some information, or we can rest. Let's rest, because when we rest, we can pay off our debt to start with. So we can pay off 11 days worth of debt. We don't feed 50% rations. Our consumption is 41. We have 50 supplies. All right, so let's not come. Can I go back? No, apparently I must rest now that I've clicked the rest screen. All right, fair enough. We don't need... Oh, okay, this is not guarding now. This is sleep on the stable floor. At least it's free. Sleep a good night's sleep in the Mancio's room. 1 morale, 1 vigor, 1 nutrition. Costs us 6 copper. We can just about afford that. Or enjoy the more hospitality the Mancio has to offer. Plus 2 morale, plus 2 nutrition. Let's go for a decent night's sleep. So, we have gotten rid of our debt. However, we don't have enough cash to pay daily upkeep for a single day now. So we're going to need to sell some of this scrap metal, I guess. How much of it, I don't know. And we're going to need to buy supplies as well. Alright, that's a decent amount of cash. I'm just going to sell half of what we have. Now we need to buy supplies. Desperately need to buy supplies. Now, I wonder if things like dried fruit are more efficient. They're way more expensive. And it doesn't tell us how much it gives us exactly. Supplies 250 per unit. Then this tells us that we need 82 consumption. Total consumption 82. And we have not enough days. Indicates how long the currently available supplies of the Comitatus can feed it. Okay, in that case, we want to buy heaps of supplies. What's our max now? Okay, like tons. 11 days. Let's try 300, 3 days. 400, 4 days. 500, 6 days. Let's take 6 days worth of supplies. Even that is probably not going to be enough. But we still have a decent amount of cash, and apparently this supply stack just stays at 999 in the store. We can just buy as much of it as we want forever, so long as we have the cash. Is there anything else we'd like to do? I guess we have all the plot to do here in the city as well. But before we get to plot, a hidden outpost. Is there something to be had? Let's buy some rumors. Avernum offers goods at the Avernum offers good that another town needs. Why are there so many bounties? Why there are savages said to be nearby? Let's exchange local news. Receive nothing. And we'll probably take this person when we leave. But before we do that, let's do our plot then. Enter the Temple of Ashkull. The King of the Underworld is known to grant peace to his adherents. Visit Slag Fort, the official business with the authorities. Explore the city, you never know what we'll find. Meet Scornar, he can be found at Lavernus's watering hole. Go to the fighting pit, blood flows in the sand. Seek out the foundries, they are open for commissions. Enter the temple of Sergorod. The vengeful god might grant you boons or curse your enemies. Sidarius' hideout is always there, or we can visit a sorcerer. Is this the place? I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it amongst all the screens we have. Where is the thing that tells me the package? We received a package from our friend Narbo. Deliver it to a man named Skornar in Avernum. Okay, let's do that. Skornar. Lavinus's watering hole is one of the most notorious establishments in the disreputable district of Scoria. There's no sign or inscription to let you know that the decrepit building at the back alley is a tavern, but the smell of putrid, cheap booze makes it quite clear nonetheless. You nod to the orc bouncer and enter through the small doorway. The inside of this place is no better. Dirty lichen hangs from the low ceilings, the walls are sticky and your eyes are watering thanks to thick smoke. Dozens of local derelicts are hunched over their clay tankards. A quick talk with the tainted bartender gains you entry to the back rooms where Skornar is expecting someone with a package. We will deliver our package. A sleepy-looking Dajman guard lets you into the back room through a curtained doorway, but Yavik is told to stay outside. Inside, several motley individuals are playing cards. One of them, a tall man with red hair and beard, rises and sends the others out of the room with a wave of his hand while offering you a seat at the table. You take a moment to look over each other, up and down, before you comply. Skornar is a large man with broad shoulders, long limbs, and thick red beard, contrasting by his boyish handsomeness. He is clearly not of imperial origin, but if you had to guess, you'd say he wasn't born on the continent. Foreign symbols covers his arms and neck in the form of tattoos. He is wearing a bronze breastplate, and the white-grey fur of a predator is covering his shoulders. An impressive bearded axe with an iron head leans against the wall next to him. He makes no threatening move, yet you can feel he is a dangerous man. Welcome, VAGRUS. I am the one called Skornar, the blue-faced, he says. You do not mention that his face appears to be human colour. I've been expecting someone with a delivery. He sits down across from you and pours you both some ale, smiling. Can I have it now? You hand him the package. +2 insight. Skornar smiles mischievously as he unwraps the small leather package and carefully observes a golden ring decorated with silver symbols. He wraps it again and pockets the package. Just checking if it's genuine. More of the craftsman's sake than yours, he says upon seeing your quizzical expression. He salutes you with his own mug and drinks up. You join him. I am grateful to you, friend, for your part in this. I am sure Narbo compensated you somehow. However, you might want to do business with me later nonetheless. You'll find that I can help you with a lot of things in this city. I have to leave now, but I'll see you around, aye? With that, Skornar leaves the room through a side door and you rejoin Yavik, going back to the common room. You leave the watering hole for now. Right, so that was the important part of our trip here. We can also go and see Sidarius and see what he has going on. Sidarius' hideout is in a tumbled town set of stone buildings about a block away from the Temple of Suragod. You can reach it by going to the enclosed courtyard of several houses, entering the cellars and ascending a well-hidden set of stairs. There's always a novice or two down in the cellar on guard duty. The apartment Sidarius occupies is owned by the church, but few know of it, even among the anointed. It's usually used when they have someone to hide, which is fairly rare. It's not well furnished and quite dirty. The knight Sidarius usually sits on a decrepit table or paces back and forth like a lion. We can report to him. We can ask him to pay our gate tax. We ask him about the mission near the Voiceless Lake. Ask what he thinks of Avernum. Ask about his past. Ask him about the Knights of the Black Sun. Or leave the hideout. Let's just get on with finding out what he wants us to do. Let us begin, VAGRUS. There is no time to waste. You can almost hear Sidarius' teeth grinding as the two of you talk about the investigation. He's clearly on edge for being powerless while confined to this hideout of his. He begins explaining the situation after you sit down. When I arrived here on request of the Order to root out the abolitionists plaguing the region, we assumed that there was no more than well-organized gangs laying ambushes on travelers outside in the Wasteland. Perhaps some idealists, and board aristocrats in the city aid escaped slaves that join their ranks, but nothing more. A nuisance. Now I am absolutely sure that quite a lot of powerful people are involved with this whole mess, since they have had the audacity and resources to set a trap for my contingent. That required coordination between the slaves and the slave lovers. Therefore, I conclude that the people in my initial investigation involved had been in cahoots with the abolitionists. You need to find them and learn all you can about what they are hiding. Because we are dealing with powerful people, you need to apply subterfuge. There are 3 sources you have to investigate. These 3 targets are all close to the lead that guided us to the ambush up north. Who is your first target? Our first suspect is Assistant Magistrate Gelodius Darrow. He was one assigned to my cohort when we took up the investigation in Avernum. He coordinated with local law enforcement and served as a mouthpiece for the Prefectus and his magistrates. I have no doubt that he has to be involved in some way. Getting him would not be easy, but I figured something related to me and my contingent's fate would pique his interest. Therefore, go to the Slag Fort and report to officials that you have information about my fate. That will almost certainly get you an audience with Darrow. Tell him that you've come across signs of battle with the remains of Sergo-Oldrights up north. When he asks if there was a knight in the order among them, tell him no. You ask him what the purpose would serve other than alerting him and his fellow conspirators. Well, you do not have the powers of a priest of Sergod at your disposal, but you do have the best thing. The next best thing, he says with a predatory smile as he looks at Yarvik. Your friend stirs and seems uncomfortable, but nods. I can read his mind. The topic will surely divert his thoughts on the matter, making the scan much easier. Who is the second target? Next we have Centurion Vardis Pendius, a drunkard fallen from grace. The old soldier was key to the lead that we got in our initial investigation. He had been tasked with leading a patrol in the North Reaches between Arenas Negras and the Molten Tongue. According to his report, they found tracks out in the rough terrain and followed them almost to the Voiceless Lake. There, they stumbled upon a sizable camp hidden in some ravines. They turned back because they were severely outnumbered, and Pendius knew that the camp was either outlaws or a liberated tribe, but when they were leaving, they got ambushed by these hostiles. Only 3 soldiers survived, but only Pendius made it back to Avernum, conveniently. Sidarius frowns. Pendius is now enjoying his leave of duty. I need you to get him stinking drunk and deftly question him about these matters. I'm sure that his report is completely fake, but he may let slip why he made him lie in the courts. He is a regular at the Rusty Pugio. And for our third target, finally there's the Smelters Collegium. Word is they run half this city, especially its criminals. They were not directly involved in the plot, but whoever armed the abolitionists must have done it through them. Also, whatever damned slave lovers take from the comitati that fall victim to them has to go through this city's black market, also run by the Collegium. They'd never talk to a Sergo-Oldright, but they would talk to you. See what you can learn from them, but be prepared to be clever or they'll get suspicious. Sidarius puts a copper coin on the table. This should be more than enough for bribes. Use your guile. Use your sorcerer's telepathy, or whatever. I don't care. Just glean from them as much as you can from the abolitionists' contact in this city. One of their headquarters is the tavern called Gallows Anvil. Now you know everything to start your investigation. +1 Lyrig. Sidarius' hideout is a tumbled-down set of stone buildings out about a block away from the Temple of Serarod. You can reach it by going into the enclosed courtyard of several houses, entering the cellars, and ascending a well-hidden set of stairs. There's always a novice on duty. Yes, we know this bit. Right, we don't need the details of the investigation again, so we can leave the hideout. So we've got a bit of cash. We have a combat strength. We have supplies for at least 6 days. So now we need to do some investigating and other poking around the city. So please join me tomorrow when we will go and investigate these 3 leads and see if we can't find some resolution to what happened to this man and his crew out in the deserts. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you're enjoying the series, please do consider subscribing or hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.